Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're rapidly decoding a totally fascinating three-part ancient system for spiritual order, pulling directly from the source text of Deuteronomy 18. If you've ever wondered exactly how ancient Israel structured its spiritual leadership, strictly banned the occult, or even how they fact-checked their prophets, you're in the exact right place. Because this isn't just dusty ancient history, it's actually one of the earliest recorded systems of institutional checks and balances. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Rules for Ancient Spiritual Order. We're going to start with the very first pillar of this text, which is the unique status of the Levite tribe. Unlike the other tribes of Israel, the tribe of Levi was explicitly denied land ownership, because, as the text states, the Lord himself was declared their inheritance. But, without land to farm, how did they actually survive? Well, looking at the Levite compensation package on this slide, the text outlines some very specific, highly structured provisions owed to the priests from the people. Whenever a sacrifice was offered, the priests received the shoulder, the two cheeks, and the maw. They also got the first fruits of the corn, the wine, the oil, and literally the very first fleece from the sheep. It was essentially this bizarre ancient tax bracket, or, kind of like an early form of universal basic income. The goal was ensuring equal portions for all ministering Levites to save them from poverty while they served. And that brings us to the second pillar. Here, the scripture takes a dramatic turn, using the incredibly stark, powerful phrase you see here, an abomination unto the Lord. This established an absolute zero-tolerance ban on the spiritual practices of the surrounding nations that they were displacing. The text goes on to outlaw a highly specific list of banned occult practices. We're talking passing children through the fire, divination, observing times, enchanters, witches, charmers, consulting with familiar spirits, wizards, and necromancers. The sheer volume and specificity of these bans is absolutely crucial here. The text is making it undeniably, literally, crystal clear that these practices were strictly forbidden. It acted as a massive cultural wall to protect their entirely unique spiritual order. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it pivots to our third pillar, addressing a highly practical question straight from verse 21. How shall we know the word which the Lord hath not spoken? Think about it. It's the ultimate ancient fact-checking question. If someone suddenly pops up and claims to speak for God, how do you actually verify it? Well, the text provides a remarkably straightforward, totally results-driven metric, the ultimate prophet test. On side A, you have the true prophet, commanded by God, whose words actually come to pass. But over on side B, the false prophet. If a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, and the predicted event simply does not follow or come to pass, then the prophet is false. They spoke presumptuously, maybe even for other gods. You don't have to guess, you just have to sit back and watch the outcome. Which brings us to the extreme high stakes of the system. For the false prophet, who presumes to speak uncommanded words, the penalty was death. But notice the final command here, do not be afraid of him. You are explicitly commanded not to fear the fraud. It's a remarkably powerful psychological release, entirely empowering the ancient Israelites to dismiss false leaders without a single ounce of fear. If they fail the test, their power over you is completely gone. So, it leaves us with this question. What kind of modern frauds could we easily dismiss today if we applied that exact same lack of fear?